The Changeling has become one of my favorite series of 2023, while also becoming one of the most frustrating because we are given twist and turn after mystery and tease of supernatural elements with the tiniest trail of breadcrumbs. But something needs to change real fast. So in this video, we're going to be jumping into our biggest theories, mysteries, and clues to what is really happening in The Changeling. I'm JBuck. Welcome to JBuck Studios. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like and subscribe button as it really helps out the channel and allows us to keep, making these videos for all of you out there. Enough of that. Let's get into our first theory. The first thing I want to theorize and question is Lillian's mysterious red suitcase. Her and the suitcase were shown at the beginning and end of episode 4, without any other teases towards it. It's obviously got to be important to the story, so the question everyone is asking: what's in the box? Let's break this down because whatever it is important to Lillian, and something in the conversations between Lillian and Apollo regarding Emma and baby Brian sparked something in Lillian to revisit this same location decades later while wearing the same clothing she did when she first yeeted the suitcase. There is an ounce of me, though, that is saying that there is a changeling copy of Apollo in the briefcase. Or suitcase, rather. The one Saturday morning Lillian came home from work and rushed into the apartment, I think is the day that she caught fairies or something trying to swap out Apollo with a changeling, like a damn Indiana Jones set piece. Lillian then gets into a scuffle with the creature, which explains the bruising and cut on her lip, and she stuffed the body in the suitcase and disposed of the evidence. Dexter would be proud, but I'm putting all of my money on Brian West actually being in the suitcase. We learned from Lillian that Brian West would visit Apollo on the Saturdays that Lillian had to work, and Lillian rushing into the apartment was the first day she learned of this, though it had been happening many times prior. I'm assuming that there was an argument that escalated into a physical altercation, and Lillian accidentally killed Brian. This would explain why Brian West never tried to reach out to the adult Apollo. He simply doesn't exist anymore. Heck, even if we take into account the weird nightmares Apollo had been having since childhood, in the nightmares, Brian breathes out some sort of blue smoke. Well, after some chaotic research, I found that in some cultures, blue smoke in a dream can be associated with spirits or ancestors, specifically the dreamer seeking guidance or advice from those who have passed on. Potentially Apollo seeking life advice because him and Emma have an eerily similar and, similarities between Lillian and Brian's relationship. However, all of this infers Brian West is in fact D.E.D. dead. Now let's throw some supernatural elements into the mix. I believe Brian West also had some sort of Norwegian heritage to him, potentially being a changeling, a fairy, or whatever the heck William is. I say this, though, because William calls Apollo a brother in episode 5.
Don't forget me, Apollo! Don't forget me, brother!
I'm not chalking this up as an actual brotherly relationship, but being cut from the same cloth, aka heritage. And if Brian West had some sort of mythical powers, it may help explain the improbabilia box of his and Lillian's belongings that randomly showed up, of which I'm saying were in the red suitcase as well, but something managed to open the case. As you can see, one of the latches is broken, maybe the same creatures from episode 1 and 2, and sent these belongings back to Apollo to receive, specifically the To the Waters and Winds fairy tale book. William Webster Wheeler has been an enigma ever since he showed up in the survivors meeting looking for Apollo, but who or what he is has been the question ever since that moment. First of all, I think it's safe to assume that the guy is of Norwegian descent. He was spotted in Norway peeping at the risque photo of Emma. He speaks Norwegian in episode 5 and even mentions that, well, yeah, his family is Norwegian, so I don't know why I didn't lead with that one. He also mentions that he had been on boats since childhood, a nice tie back to the opening of this series and the Norwegian ship restoration. of which ties in with William's necklace that was beaten off of him. The design looks to have a Norse-like Viking ship, looking very similar to this 1925 USPS stamp featuring the restoration. So I'm saying William or his ancestors were on the original ship that made the voyage from religious persecution and settled in New York. Funny enough, this same article where I found the stamp mentions many of these Norwegians settled in Brooklyn, specifically Red Hook, which was later referred to as Little Norway, which happens to be located on the mouth of the East River, the same river where North Brother Island is located. All a coincidence? At this point, everything and nothing is a coincidence. Later, we discover that William is in fact the nefarious online poster by the screen name of Kindergarten. This was actually all kind of hinted at by the profile picture of Kindergarten being the same necklace we had just mentioned. But not only has William's Kindergarten been stirring up online trouble, he and his group of hacker buddies are also behind all of the disappearing text messages and pictures. We can reasonably assume that it's him because he's an app developer, worked for the Air Force, and has a group of hacker buddies that are able to secure security cam footage from anywhere, meaning that they could easily hack into Emma's phone. Heck, they could even hack into all of the other mothers' phones and torment them. Now, thinking about it, the video he took of the mother in the survivors meeting is probably like a messed up trophy-like thing for him and his hacker buddies. Anyway, the debate on what William is obviously leads up to maybe a changeling, maybe a fairy, but rather I think they are cheekily playing into the fact that William is an online persona trolling others, making him an actual online troll.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
In the physical world, he would just be, a troll because he stole Greta's money, fucked up the To Kill a Mockingbird book, and probably just tormented Greta and his children in general. Aside from fairies, witches, changelings, and glamour magic having already been established, it's not too far off to assume trolls exist too. Plus, Norway is steeped with mythological lore and stories involving all of these creatures, specifically trolls. Heck, there was even a Norwegian troll movie that released last year on Netflix.
Oh my God!
We can also assume that he had been hiding behind glamour magic, as he's much more of an intimidating, hulking, full head of hair character at the end of episode 5. So maybe his magical glamour illusion wore off and it was solely powered by devouring children. We know several other children have been missing in this series, shown by all of the missing posters around New York City, plus Greta reveals that William was the one who killed their daughter, Agnes. The screen name Kindergarten, also being close to kindergarten relating to children, is yet another clue William has nefarious motives towards children and replacing them with changelings. So this child bloodlust is William's source of power and glamour magic, similar to like that one-eyed Charlie or whatever character from Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
End of story. Goodbye. The end.
My final theory involves around some of the material we've already discussed, but I'm convinced that there is more to Apollo than meets the eye. Obviously, this series is pulling from several different mythologies and folklore, and in Greek mythology, Apollo is the Greek god of sun and light. Now, if Apollo is in fact a god, he definitely is not aware of it. But there have been several signs to show us that this theory may hold water. For example, Apollo is heavily beaten by Emma, something most men would not have survived, but months later, he is back and at it. Cal later mentions that no one short of a god could have found North Brother Island, but somehow he is there. And lastly, when Apollo is initially attacked by the Wise Ones, they attempt to drown him, and it looks like he has given up hope. All is lost. Apollo bursts with energy, fighting them off right as the sun begins to emerge from the horizon, prominently featured in this scene, almost as though he is powered by it, like Superman to the glow of the Earth's sun. Adding to this theory are a couple of things we mentioned earlier, specifically Apollo's weird nightmares and Brian West. Again, we had mentioned Apollo's nightmares featuring what looks like blue smoke and mentioned in certain cultures This can mean that the dreamer is seeking guidance or advice from those who have passed on. However, psychologically, blue smoke in a dream can represent the subconscious mind or the hidden aspects of your psyche. It may indicate that there are things within you that you are fully not aware of, and in this case, Apollo being that of a god. For all of this to be plausible, I think it's got to be revealed that Brian West is of Norwegian origins, like we had mentioned in the red suitcase theory. Say Brian West is one of the original Restoration passengers, a relative of one of them, or even an adult changeling. Some sort of powers could possibly be passed on to Apollo via the birth from Lillian. Believe me, I know we are thinking way out there with this one, but magical rule logic has yet to fully be established in this series, and this could be yet another layer of the mystery onion. This could all tie in with the Swahili quote from the opening of episode 5, stating,
"Whomsoever is not taught by the mother will be taught with the world."
Lillian refused to tell Apollo about his true origins, so instead he is having to figure it out from the world and his experiences. I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of these subtle hints and clues, and it would be funny if he goes full-on Human Torch in the finale, and we're all just sitting there like,
"Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for!"
Dear God, it's beautiful.
But that's all we've cooked up for the Changeling right now. I'm curious how these last 3 episodes will play out, because it feels like there is a lot to wrap up, and I wonder if there's actually going to be a season 2. But let us know your thoughts, theories, everything on the Changeling in the comments below. Are there some huge things we're missing, or are we right on the money? Also, giveaway competitions have started up, as we'll be giving away 2 copies of Across the Spider-Verse on the 15th of October, and all you gotta do to get a chance of winning this is like this video, make sure to subscribe with notifications on, and drop a comment below with your thoughts and theories on the Changeling. We picked the comments at random, and the winners of our last giveaway are on screen right now. So if that's you, message me on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook at my respective handle. And if you haven't, please check out all of my other social media accounts for my Shorts and Clips YouTube channel, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, everything. Any and all support really helps us creating high quality videos for all of you out there, so please and thank you. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out and much love.